Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the Valentines, where we make videos about all things homegrown and homemade. In this video, I'm making this beautiful clove and oat soap. It's all natural, and I go into details about the entire process. So if you're interested in that, please stay tuned. All right, guys, so I've master batched all of my essential oils. I've master batched my oils. I didn't show master batching my lye, but as you saw in the previous frames, I use these containers. I batch my lye and enough lye for 2 loaves at a time for my main recipe. I use a lye water ratio of 1.7 to 1. So 1 part lye to 1.7 parts of water. Some people do 1 to 1. I like 1.7 to 1. It just works good for me. It gives me a little time to get some designs in before it traces up too quickly. A lot of people do 50-50 and then we'll add them later. I don't see the point in that. I just go for the same ratio that I'm gonna use in a recipe to make it easier. So, a couple things I have here. I like to use a 1/2-gallon mason jar filled with water because I put my stick blender in it in between different colors to rinse it off, and it's also a convenient place to keep the stick blender so it won't fall. I've got my scale handy. This is the KD 8000 scale. My master batch oils, my pot that I'm gonna heat them in, and I've got, again, my lye solution, my pre-batched essential oils, cocoa powder for the brown drop swirl that I'm going to do. I've got some rolled oats, and I'm gonna show you how to just make your own colloidal oats. You just grind it yourself. You don't have to pay for colloidal oats. And then there's some extra oats for the topping and some other spatulas and safety equipment. So first things first, I'm gonna get started. This is the same pot that I always use to melt my oils. It's the only thing it ever gets used for. So I'm gonna pour all of my master batched oils into the pot. And this has all of my solid oils and butters, as well as my liquid oils in here. So just gonna scrape it all out in there. I heat my oils over the stove top. I actually used to do it in the microwave when I did smaller batches. But now that I do larger batches, this container will not fit in the microwave. But it's pretty fast to do it over the stove as well. I just stir it, and around 100 to 105 degrees, my all of the oils melt. The shea butter is the hardest butter, so it takes the longest to melt. But I like to soak at less than 100 degrees, around 95, so it's kind of perfect. I'll pull it off, and it'll cool down over like the next couple minutes, usually while I'm preparing other things or getting other parts of the recipe ready. I'm just gonna get this on the stove. While my oils are melting down, I'm gonna grind my oats. A really easy way that I like to do it is just to do it with my stick blender. I'll either put these in a measuring cup like I have now, or usually a wide mouth mason jar works really good as well. And it happens pretty fast. You get to decide how fine you want the oats for your bars. I have done them various sizes over the years, or the last 4 years that I made soap rather. I'm gonna do it pretty fine today. There we go. Cool. So that's how easy and quick it is to get it ground up into a very fine powder. And then I'm just gonna measure out by weight how much of this I wanna put in the recipe for 2 loaves. And it's, I have read that the most you wanna do is about 5% of the total weight of the batch. So that would be the weight of the oils and the lye and water that you add. So for this recipe, that's gonna be about 140 grams. So I'm gonna weigh that out. I used to just eyeball it, which you can do too. It always worked out fine for me, but I'm just always working now to standardize my recipes. Okay, so this is actually about 70 grams, and looking at that, I think that's all I really do want to put into this batch, so it's really going to be more at 2.5% of my recipe. That is fine with me because I'm also putting kaolin clay into my bars, which I do every time, so I think between the two, that's going to be enough added substance. If I wasn't using the kaolin clay, you could put more. Something to note about oats is some people mistakenly think that oats are an exfoliant. They could be if you put big pieces in there, but oats are actually what's known in the herbal world as a mucilage. They are slippery. So anyone who's ever made oatmeal knows that they're slippery. And that provides a lot of soothing qualities for the skin. So it's going to affect the lather of the bar a little bit and the glide, which is gonna be so nice. So that's enough for me. I'm gonna move this out of the way. I forgot to pull out my kaolin clay. This kaolin clay comes in a 5-pound bag. I could, batch it into smaller portions in advance, but to be honest with you, it's so fine and powdery that I feel like that would make a big mess. So I just portion it out every time I use it. Different people use different amounts. I use about 2 tablespoons per log. So I'm doing 4 tablespoons here since we're doing 2 logs. Kaolin clay, you might know, has several benefits in the soap. It affects the lather and gives a really creamy lather, kind of like a shave bar. It also helps the essential oils have something to hold on to and stick in the bar, and then it's just really good for your skin. Let me check on my oils. Okay, I've only got a few minutes to soap while my husband watches the baby, so I'm gonna get rolling here. My oils are at about 103. That's a little bit hotter than I would like, particularly because I'm using some oils that can accelerate trace, but we have got to roll with it. So I'm gonna weigh out my portions here. I keep a sheet with the weights for like my master batches and what I want the weight of oils to be, if I'm doing 2 bars, 4 bars, or loaves, etc. So I'm going to weigh out my, for 2 logs. (2,098 grams). Okay, put out of the way there. Okay, so now I can start adding all the things that I'm gonna add. I like to add my essential oils and everything first before I will add the lye water last. So here's my kaolin clay. As well as the oats. I'm not gonna add the cocoa powder yet because I'm only coloring a portion of this. Here's my pre-batched essential oil blend. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. I wanna make sure I get every single part of that I can in there. These very precious, expensive ingredients. A little stir. Okay. Gonna have my brown on hand, but we're not using it yet. Switch places here. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix all of this before I add the lye water. It's mixed quite well and it already smells absolutely amazing. So we're gonna add the lye water and then we're gonna work fast. I've got an extra container here that I'm gonna put my cocoa powder in when it's time. So I've got that on deck. And here we go. I'm gonna blend a little bit as I add the lye. This is tracing so fast, so I'm gonna go ahead and separate some out to make brown for my drop swirl. There we go. A little bit more stir, and then I'm gonna pour this in. In fact, I'm not even gonna stir it with the, not even gonna stir it anymore with the electric stirrer because it's coming to trace too fast. Let's pour it in. Wow. Talk about coming to trace fast. That is crazy. Get it in there. That's the name of the game. This came to trace so fast it makes my head spin. All right. Beat it down, beat it down. Let's see if we can even get this cocoa mixed in, y'all. Oh my gosh, it's setting up. Might really be just a swirly cocoa top, which will still look nice. So it's not gonna be a drop swirl, folks. That just isn't gonna happen. But it is gonna look pretty cool. Nice little subtle color to the top. We'll get that in. We'll just have to smear it down in there. It'll still be nice. Things don't always go as planned in soap making. So I think what would have been good is if I had been more patient and let the oils come down to like 90 degrees. But I don't really have time for that, as I said. I'm trying to make several logs while my little baby and husband are on a walk. But this will work just fine. It's actually gonna look very beautiful. Stay tuned to the end so you guys can see me cut this bar tomorrow morning. Cut these loaves into bars tomorrow morning. Nice. All right. Let's get all of it that we can. We still have to texture the top and add our oats to the top for a little extra flair. Man, it smells so good though, guys. I'm personally happy that I did this bar, even though we're going into the warmer months. It's gonna be so nice. Okay. All right, a little bit more tamping here. We don't want any air bubbles or pockets. Cool. And then all that's left is to texture with a spoon. Do a little bit more squeegee here with the spatula along the sides. And just put it in the middle. There we go. I like to just texture with a regular spoon. And we're just making waves towards the middle. This is like the method that many soap makers do. And then a little swirl here on top. Fantastic. Less is more with texturing. It's never gonna look perfect. These are rustic bars. We are not some, you know, rustic and natural is our brand. So I have to resist the urge to keep going, because the more you keep going, the less good it looks. Cool. And now to sprinkle the oats. You always want to sprinkle more than you think you need because through the cutting process, a lot are going to fall off. I am going to tamp those down a little bit more with a spoon so that they'll stay. So you got to think that we're going to cut these, but we're also going to wrap them and label them. So I just want the oats to stay. Wow, y'all, it smells good. And I'm going to tell you, I'm particularly glad that I added the lemongrass that I did because it really did add just a special element of sweetness to this that I think the recipe needed. And yeah, very happy with that decision. Okay, so these are now gonna go. So these bars are now gonna be set to go through hardening. I do not gel my bars. I don't force the gel. I like to have ungelled bars. To gel or not to gel is kind of a debate, but because I use essential oils, I don't want them to get as hot as they do through a forced gel phase. Anyway, stay tuned because next up I will cut these for you guys tomorrow morning, so check that out. And now for the most satisfying part of the process. I love waking up in the morning to unmold and cut soap. So you can see in this footage, I'm cutting the soap on the side so that the oats on the top don't make drag marks. And you can see the beautiful tiny pieces of colloidal oats in there. It's going to be so luxurious for the skin. And I, of course, wish you could smell it through the screen. So the bars turned out really beautiful, even though it traced too quickly for me to do a drop swirl. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave questions and comments below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Be sure to subscribe for more like this. Thanks again.